Welcome back, I'm Saav, and today we're going to do a scientific test on the Pulsar LT. I'm going to be driving from Florida to Ohio and back this week, and thought that would be the perfect test for the Pulsar. Our 2020 Chevy Silverado LT has the 8-speed, 5.3-liter V8 engine in it, and has just over 25,000 miles on it. The only change that's been made to date that would affect performance is the upgrade from the 17-inch wheels with the 255/70 R17 tires to 20x9 wheels with 295/55 R20 tires. I have noticed a bit of a hit on my miles per gallon since doing the upgrade. For the test, I'm going to do the trip to Ohio without the Pulsar and track our fuel economy. Then, just before returning, I'm going to install the Pulsar, disable the DFM and the Auto Stop, which I usually turn off anyway, and see what our fuel mileage is on the way back. And we'll see what, if any, difference there is with DFM on or off. Let's log our starting mileage and set our trip meter. Our starting mileage is going to be 25,534 miles. And we're going to use trip 1, which is saying that over the last 7,500 miles, I've gotten about 18 miles to the gallon. So let's go ahead and reset that. And we are good to go. Well, we made it to Oxford, Ohio. And as you can see, we traveled a little over 1,000 miles, and we had an average MPG of 17.4. The trip should have only been about little over 900 miles. Should have been just a straight shot up 75, but the GPS decided to play some games around the Tennessee line and actually shifted me west over on the 24 and took me up through Nashville. Beautiful country through there. Found a lot of really cool places that I might try to take Jack. But again, it just added a bunch of time to the trip. So the next step is to install the Pulsar, which I'll probably do tomorrow. I've got 3 more days here in Oxford. The little bit of driving around town that I'll be doing will help get the things set in and ready for our long trip back to Florida. And on this trip, regardless of what the GPS says, I'm taking 75 home. It is about 7 o'clock in the morning. We're getting ready to leave to go back to Florida. Before we do, I want to get this Pulsar installed and set up. So let's take a look, see what we get in the box. All right, in the box you get your instruction manual. You get the actual Pulsar. You get your wiring harness to install the Pulsar. You get some tie wraps to clean up your wiring and some Velcro to attach the Pulsar somewhere inside your engine bay. And finally, in this little sleeve, you get a mounting bracket. For the installation, you're going to need a 10mm deep socket with an extension. Let's get started. To get started, you're going to want to take off your negative battery terminal. Don't worry, you won't lose any of your radio presets or driver settings by doing this. Next thing we want to do is lift up this red tab right here, and then pushing in on the 2 sides of the sleeve, we're going to want to lift this sleeve. Got this sleeve pulled up, just disconnect it. We're going to take the top part of our new connector and plug it into the sleeve, or into the top connector, pull the sleeve back down. We're going to take the bottom part of our new connector and plug it in down here on the bottom part of the old connector. Making sure to pull that sleeve down and pushing in the tab. And the same thing up here, pull the sleeve down, push in the tab. We went ahead and used one of the nuts from the airbox to mount the supplied bracket. Attach the bottom section of the connector to that bracket, making sure that our wires are not engaging with any of the sheet metal in the truck. Our last step is to connect our Pulsar. And then we'll go ahead and put the Velcro on the back of that. We're going to go ahead and attach it to the back of our airbox just so that it's up and out of the way. That looks good. Hold this for about 15 seconds. Okay, that should be good. Final step under the hood is to reconnect the negative battery terminal. Make sure that's nice and snug. All right, we'll clean up our mess under the hood, and then we will go ahead and get this thing programmed and get on the road. Now that we have the unit installed, it's time to program it. The Pulsar LT comes with 7 programmable modes. The first is, well, let's read it off the list. The first is your speed limiter adjuster. That will allow you to adjust the top speed of your vehicle anywhere from 82 miles an hour to 140. I don't recommend setting it to 140, but you can if you want. The second is your TPMS sensor, your tire pressure measurement sensor, and that's a hard one to say. That's your tire pressure measurement sensor that will allow you to change the optimal tire pressure anywhere from 1 to 99 psi. The third is your tire size correction. If you put larger or smaller tires on your vehicle, you can use this option to adjust the size of the tires that the computer thinks you have, which should help adjust your speedometer to a more accurate reading. Number 4 is changing your axle ratio. Number 5 is to clear DTCs. Those are those little computer codes that pop up on your vehicle, and they're really annoying and sometimes are hard to get rid of. Number 6 is to enable or disable the auto start stop. And number 7 is to enable or disable the DFM, which if you disable the DFM, it'll also disable the auto start stop. To program these options, your vehicle needs to be turned off, and we need to put it into what we used to call accessory mode. To put your vehicle in accessory mode, you're going to hold the start engine or the start stop button for the engine for about 5 seconds until the light turns green and your dashboard lights up. So you can see the light is green, my dashboard is all lit up, and we're good to go. The first step in the process is to hold your cruise cancel button for about 5 seconds until you see the speedometer sweep to 140. Release it. It will sweep back and stop around 10. Using the resume set wheel, you'll want to adjust the speedometer until you get to the option that you want to program. For us, that's going to be option 60, which is turning off the auto start stop. Once you're there, you'll hit the cruise cancel button again. Your speedometer will sweep to 140 and back to the current setting, which is 0. With the auto stop on off, it's 0 for off, 10 for on. So we're going to turn it to 10, and then we're going to hit the cruise cancel button again to set it. It'll go down to 0. It'll sweep to 140 and come back, and you're all done. To change any of the other settings, you basically go through the same process. You hold the cruise cancel button until the speedometer sweeps to 140. Release it. Navigate to the setting you want to change. We're going to go to 70 now so we can disable the DFM. Click the cruise cancel button again. We're down to 0, which means that DFM is on. We're going to put that on 10, which is going to turn the DFM off. Click the button, wait for it to sweep, and back, and Bob's your uncle. The Pulsar comes with one additional programming point that can be adjusted at any time, even while driving, and that is a responsiveness level adjustment. To adjust this, the engine must be running and the cruise control has to be off. To see where your vehicle is currently set, press the cruise cancel button. The speedometer will sweep to the current setting. 0 is stock, 10 is reduced responsiveness, so up to about a 15% reduction. 20 is increased responsiveness, up to about 15% over stock. 30 is increased responsiveness to about 30% over stock. 40 is increased responsiveness to about 48% over stock. And 50 is increased responsiveness up to 68% over stock. Start your vehicle. Make sure the cruise control is off. And then if you hit the cruise cancel button, you'll see what your current setting is. I've currently set to about 15% over stock. To make a change, you use the resume set wheel to get to your desired setting. And I'm going to leave mine at 20. When you're happy with the setting, you hit the cruise cancel button and wait for it to sweep down to 0. While you're driving, the speedometer needle will still sweep to the appropriate options until you hit the cruise cancel button. I suggest leaving your cruise control on while driving so you don't accidentally hit that wheel and adjust responsiveness. And no, driving with your cruise control on, even if it's not engaged, will not damage your vehicle. I Googled it. 16 hours later, and we're back in Clearwater, Florida. Traveled about 70 miles less on the way home. We didn't get routed out through Nashville. just went straight down 75. You can also see that we were running about 16.6 miles per gallon on the trip up to Ohio with the DFM enabled. We got 17.4, so it was almost a 1 mile per gallon difference with and without the DFM. With gas prices the way they are now, that you know, some might consider that a big difference. I lost more MPG going to the larger tires than I did disabling the DFM. So that's the result of my scientific test. In my opinion, well worth the money, and looking forward to the continued performance boost that I've been getting from it. We appreciate you stopping by. Until next time.